What we're doing is, you see that gutter up there? It's got that chain coming out of it which runs down and falls into the garden bed. So the owner's having a problem with the water coming out of it up there, landing on top of this window and getting inside. So we're going to show you, we're going to replace the double stop because we're replacing the gutters, and we're going to put a spreader which goes out onto the roof to control it as it comes down. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so what I have to do now is get a measurement of the spread. It's got to come off there. It's got to have falls. So I need to know it's got to fall. It gives me, I think anything past 1200. It's good. Get it to 1500, it's even better. So if I have it too short, and you'll see that later, and it starts running up, then your water's not going to get away. So I'm measuring it, I'm coming for 1500. And I'll make it 1500 long. They are, one copies the other, same length, both looking good. This one's rusting out anyway, so it's time for it to be changed. But you'll see, when I was up there, I marked here, okay, if you remember, and that was where the tiles ended. So I can't go and put that pop any closer than that. So I'll put it about there on it, on that double stop. I'll measure it, and we have to cut the hole because we have to direct connect these kind of spreaders, otherwise they will leak. You can't put a pop in them, connect them up and then do it, they will leak. Okay, so check the measurement. I'm going to bring it out 50. There we go. I'm going to just mark it, so I don't want it to go any closer than that. Beautiful. Now, using a downpipe, we are going to cut that size into the bottom section here. So it's going to sit there nice and tight against that 50 mark. We're just using this to get the size of the hole. There you go. We're going to cut that out. So there he is. Let me check the hole. There you go. No, sometimes it's almost like I know what I'm doing. All right, so you saw me measure the length of the spreader earlier, which is going up there. Now that's a 2.4 meter downpipe, so I knew I had a bit of play. We measured it at 1500. So we're going to cut the turn to go down the roof at 1500 down that downpipe, and we're not going to bend it at a complete right angle. We're going to bend it at that's a 95 by 45. We're going to give it a 5 mil fall still so that it doesn't hold water. Okay, so we measured him at 1500. We know what size we want this to be. I'm going to come down, I'm going to measure 1500 right to there. I'm actually going to do it with pen so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, that's where I want it to bend to. So I want this seam to be at the top, so when you look at it from below you don't see it. So that's 1500, marking there, and I want it to spin that way. This is a 95 by 45 down, so I'm going to measure down 90 and down 90 again. Okay, that's where my bend's going to. Very simple. It'll be, so my bend will be 1590. That gives me a bit of play up the top. Just going to mark him straight across. So now I'm coming down this way 90, which goes to there. And this one, look, we can keep it anything within it. Really, about 80 is probably good. So if we do 80, you can have a 10 wheeler. So we have that at 90, that at 80. I'm going to angle grind down there, and I'm going to cut this one from the 90 nice and low down into the bottom. This one I'm going to cut up higher, which is the 80 there. And I'll do it like that on both sides. This one, 90, down to the bottom. This one, 80, it's got to be higher. And all of this is your waste. Okay? Yep. Felt some rain. Clean any cloth you have on it. Oh. And now this bit will fold into that bit, like so. And I'm going to put in the rivets. Okay. Now, with a bit of silicone, just going to put a really thin bead through there. Rub them in, like so. Nice and hard. Really, this is one of your biggest problems with these. This joint can leak, and then I'm just wiping it right off with my rag. So I want to get it right into that joint, stop any chance of it leaking. And I'm trying to make it look small so you can't really see. So that's the plan. Lovely. So that's your spreader made up. Cut the holes in the bottom. At the end, there's only one last thing to do, and that is on this section here, I'm going to partially close it off. Grabbing my pen, I'm going to come down to 20 on each side, like so. Just go all the way around on the 20. Okay, just gonna bend these in. Now the reason I close that off is because what I'm trying to do is stop that water gushing out there. I don't want it coming too quickly out of the end so that it goes through the tile. So I'm just slowing it, and then you will see these sections here. I'm going to put a couple holes in there to spread the water across the roof. That's why it's called a spreader. Okay, so now we're just sealing our stop ends, getting ready to put it up. Okay, so there you can see we've put the double stop in, and honestly that's going to be one of the hardest pieces of gutters to put in. They just are when they've got tiles overhanging. But you can see we've left the pop out a bit, so it's not hard up against, and you'll see where that comes in now. But the main idea there is we can get things in now without having to completely destroy, without this flushing being in the way. So that's what we're going to do now, and I'll show you how that's done. So there you see he's in. He has full, so that water's going to run away, and you'll see that this isn't 100% square, because if it's square then the water will sit here. But with the slight rundown, we're going to put a couple holes in here now after we fixed it, and then what that'll do is that'll spread it onto this tile, which will run it down here and away to the gutter. And that's the idea behind it. Sorry, you don't get away. What's just being annoying? It's difficult to get to. Okay, so we have the spreader here in place. It is not going to move. And now what we want to do is just cut holes. See, there's the join there in the tile. Okay, join here. We don't want it landing on a join, so we want to cut a hole there, and maybe a hole there, so that it runs down the channels of the tiles without ever hitting your joins. So to do this, we're going to use a highly specialized piece of equipment. It's just the top of a tap. Now you can use a milk bottle lid's good, or a Gatorade lid is actually very good as well. And we're just using that to draw the circle of what we're going to cut. So just so that it's all unique, basically, is what we're going for. There's one. Some people do them as triangles. It doesn't really matter. All you're really trying to do is direct that water down those channels. And the way we do that is, of course, to cut it on the channels. Okay, so that being the basics, it's all sealed. The last thing I'll do is under here, put a nice blob of silicone, push him down onto it. Now you can strap him, some people strap him, but if I give him a good blob of silicone there, maybe one more under there, to be honest with you, I think. That will glue him to the tiles and glue him in place. And he shouldn't move at all. Now I will run down and get some whack flex and just put it over those corners because I think it needs it. Okay, so there he is. If you like this, please subscribe and leave a like. So just a couple things. You'll see I put a little bit of what's called whack flex just over those edge bits. See the different colour, and that's just to stop it leaking in between the tiles, and it'll leak back into the gutter. And I did throw a little bit of whack flex in here because the volume of water now coming down there will be greater, so that'll guide it down the channel of the tiles. But apart from that, it's not going to fall outside her bedroom window now. So she was complaining it was keeping her up and she wasn't getting any sleep. So with a bit of luck, she'll get lots of sleep with that. And we're controlling the water down to the bottom gutters. Now, one of my jobs is to replace all the gutters on the house. So that's another thing. All right, till the next one, I will catch you then.